How's everyone doing? Staxwell here with Team Perfect Curve, and today is going to be the fourth installment of our Perfect Perspective series, and I'm going to be going over Patron Warrior, a deck that a lot of people can't find too much success with because while being a very, very powerful deck, it is pretty skill-based as well. So today I'm going to try and close the gap a little bit and help you guys out with the Patron deck and why I think it's a good deck in the Conquest. And it kind of goes against my rule in Conquest where I don't like to play decks that aren't just like 100% consistent. I'm not a big fan of any combo deck just because it's draw reliant. You know, I like to play the decks like Midrange Hunter, Zoo, where it's not too big on how I draw. It's more on like, you know, my play and everything. So like the combo decks, I kind of feel like you're drawing until you get what you need. But this deck's undeniable power is going to have to put it in my Conquest lineup every time. It's just too good not to. So we're going to go over the deck. 2 Inner Rage. I wasn't too big of a fan on this deck when it first came out because it wasn't really including Inner Rage. Not too much of the list. The list I was testing did not include Inner Rage. But then Inner Rage became a big card, and now I'm a huge fan of the deck because on 8 I can combo and Inner Rage, which something before I had to wait till 9, like combo and then like Whirlwind or whatever. So Inner Rage is definitely an insane inclusion. Not to mention the synergies it has with the rest of the deck, enabling Battle Rages, allowing your Alkalite to trade up to a Shredder, allowing your Armor Smiths to trade up. Like, it's just an insane card. And the Death's Bite Patron Inner Rage is a crazy combo that I'm a big fan of. It's just a very strong turn against a lot of decks, and it kind of really makes it very hard for them to win. One example would be like Druid. Like, how does a Druid player clear that? And there's nothing they could really drop the turn before that doesn't die. The Death's Bite Whirlwind. So it's like, it's pretty hard to answer on the Druid end of that, which is really one thing that kind of sets the deck apart from Druid. The executes are pretty obvious. Whirlwind is pretty obvious. Fiery War Axe is a card that a lot of players have been cutting. Not a lot of players, but some players have been cutting. And I don't really think it's right because Fiery War Axe is good against the decks that your deck is good against. I get that. It's good against Zoo. It's good against Hunter. It's good against like Aggro Pally. It's good against the decks that are going to beat you before you can combo them, right? Before you can really abuse your deck and combo them. But Fiery War Axe is almost like an insurance. Like, if you have Fiery War Axe, then they definitely can't beat you before you can War Axe their guys down. So, like, if they're playing, like, Mech Mage or whatever, and you just Fiery War Axe their guys, like, 2 of their guys, like, that's huge. Like, they're not going to be able to recover from the early game if you just play War Axe, something so simple. And it just, like, some games are just unwinnable, right? They just draw a really good hand, and you can't, like, compete with the early game. And then Fiery War Axe kind of makes it so that happens a lot less. So I'm a huge fan on that one. Battle Rage is a very good card. It helps you transition from your early game to your like mid or late game. And I feel it does this by because like at the beginning of the game you're kind of just like playing like a draw deck. You draw a lot. You kind of like build up to your combo and everything. And I feel like there's 3 ways to transition from this combo-y draw deck to the powerful Patron deck that we all know. And resolving a big Battle Rage is one of them. And then resolving a lot of Patrons, which the most common way for me is like the Death's Bite Inner Rage Patron. That's one of the big ways to transition into the, like your combo base part of your deck. And then Tharcine, because you can play all your cards at a discount, which puts you so much... It's like you have a lot more mana than you do, so that kind of puts you directly into the late game. So those are the 3 ways that I kind of feel that you transition from this draw deck to your bigger, more powerful deck. So Battle Rage is definitely a great card, and resolving a big one is definitely dependent on how the matchup's going to go. Like, against your bad matchups, like Control Warrior, resolving a big Battle Rage is crucial to how the whole match is going to play out. So if you could resolve it for 2, you wait, it's like not worth it. Even though it's like good to resolve it for 2 normally, I don't think it'd be right against those kind of decks where you could just wait a little bit, hold out, draw a little bit more, play it conservatively, and really just create the unfair advantage that Patron naturally does. Slam. No Loot Hoarder and a Slam, and 2 Slams. The reason for this is because Loot Hoarder is better against the aggro decks. All the aggro decks play Knife Juggler. Knife Juggler is the card you want to kill. Loot Hoarder, it doesn't really accomplish this too much because they play... you turn 1, you pass, they coin out Juggler, and if you play this, it's a losing play. If they play another guy and they juggle it, then it's like, you're not in a good spot there. And Knife Juggler is definitely the card you want to kill. So even if I have to just cold slam a Knife Juggler, sometimes it's not a big deal because I know if I live to the late game, those kind of decks are going to lose to my insane combos. And those are the decks I have good matchups against, so if I could just survive long enough to play, then I should be good. And then Slam really helps a lot more with that than I feel that Loot Hoarder does. Another disadvantage of Loot Hoarder is that it would be the only card in the deck that doesn't promote Battle Rage. It has 1 health, so it can't take damage, right? Or else it will die. So those are 2 reasons I don't play Loot Hoarder, and I do play Slam. Obviously, Slam has a million other synergies and interactions within the deck, but I don't really need to go into those, do I? 2 Armorsmith, pretty obvious. It's kind of like your insurance. Like, if you are playing against like one of those, like again, like Hunter, mid-range Hunter, Face Hunter, Zoo, any kind of Mech Mage or Tempo Mage or whatever, it's like it's gonna always get to a point where you stabilize, but you don't have a ton of health because they have a crazy early game. And Armorsmith is kind of like the insurance. Like you combo them, you resolve a huge Armorsmith, so it's like not only did you just combo them, so you're up your life, but now you also Armorsmith, so they can't cheese you out with like fireballs, kill commands, whatever. So Armorsmith is just insane, not to mention just dropping it on 2 against like Hunter and everything is just great as well. Taskmaster is a great card. You get what you pay for almost. It's just like an Inner Rage effect with a 2/2 body, so it's like 2 mana for a 2/2 almost, which is the reason we only play 1, because it's just not quite as good as Inner Rage, but it is still undeniably good because that Inner Rage-like effect is insane. If I could play 3 Inner Rage, I would, but Taskmaster is still an amazing card. Like you can coin out Armorsmith and then Taskmaster it, which is a really good play against certain decks that are just like more aggressive and everything, because it just keeps you in the game for much longer so you can resolve your bigger combos. Unstable Ghoul ×2. It's kind of like bouncing back between this and the Taskmaster at 2, so do I want to play 2 Taskmaster or 2 Unstable Ghoul is something you should be asking yourself. And I feel like Unstable Ghoul it edges out a little bit because like the insane plays you can do with Frothing, Unstable Ghoul, like with the War Song Unstable Ghoul, and like either Patron or Frothing, it's just insane what you can make happen with this card. It's just another Whirlwind. Why would you want another Inner Rage when you could have another Whirlwind, right? And just like playing on 2 Unstable Ghoul if they don't have an answer, and on 3 Alkali, it's just, that's really good in its own. And Unstable Ghoul, cards like Unstable Ghoul, Taskmaster, and Inner Rage are cards that not only enable you, because they help you combo your patrons, your Frothing, everything. They also disable your opponent from playing. So it's like, it gives you so many options. Like, do you want to use this for your own benefit or for their, like, to corrupt their strategy? Because you could Inner Rage their Wolf Rider or whatever, or just Inner Rage to kill their guy. Or you can Inner Rage your own guy and, like, multiply patrons or draw extra cards with Alkalite. So this is, like, these enable and disable cards are just insane for the deck. So I like to play as many as I can. And 5, I feel like, is a lot. Like, you can't play too many more because then that's all you're going to have, and it can't be too good like that. You still want to draw into your combo pieces, which is just, this deck has a lot of draws, so you should be fine. 2 Acolyte of Pain, pretty obvious. Frothing, Warsong, Death Spy, obvious. Dread Coursier. It's a card that I see a lot of players like just want to throw out there right when they can, right when it's free, because you have Death Spy, you just want to throw out Dread Coursier. It's not right, though. You want to use Dread Coursier to protect your things, like Frothing. You'd want to use it to... Don't just drop it for no reason. You want to drop it when you can make a very good play or like protect something good, or if you're resolving a Battle Rage or something. Don't just drop it for the sake of dropping it. Gnomish Inventor. The reason I play him over Loot Hoarder is because he has a better body, he can trade better with the aggro decks, and he can also be Battle Raged. So I think that one edges out Loot Hoarder as well. Patron Emperor, pretty obvious. And again, this deck is like... It's just too powerful not to include in your lineup, so not playing this deck is going to put you at a handicap for the Conquest format because it's just so good. If you bring 3 decks to counter this deck, so say you bring like Handlock, Taunt Druid, and Control Warrior, like this deck can easily take a game from any of those, like no problem. Like sure, they're all unfavored, but it's not like you're gonna beat, like your deck is not gonna beat it, you know? So it's like definitely can take a game from anything, so it's... You don't want to be... You're not too afraid of like counter picks or whatever. And yeah, until next time, guys, just remember that perfect is not impossible.